Uh,
Welcome, 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 everybody, to another Sunday of When Black Women Gather. I'm Helen Higginbotham, your host, and today I am joined by Octavia McBride, and we are going to have a reunion of sorts online. And our topic is 50 years later, two children, what are we, two kids from Shriners reunite.
right.
So, and we're going to talk to you about our story, how we went through everything we went through. We both had scoliosis. We met in a hospital in Philadelphia, 1975.
Mhm.
Octavia, 50 years ago. Is that
I
amazing?
know, I know. I mean,
Yeah.
oh,
So, Octavia, so before we get started, I just want to, they know who I am. So tell them a little bit about yourself and where you are, and we'll take it from there.
great. Thank you. Hi, my name is Octavia McBride. I'm a retired teacher as of last year, 31, 31 years of teaching. I'm a mother of two. I lived overseas for many years. 11 years in the Ivory Coast and Cote d'Ivoire. And I'm a writer as well. And I'm excited about reuniting with Helen and sharing our journey with you.
So I have to tell you all the way that we reconnected, which is kind of crazy. I did a program maybe, I don't know, about 2 months ago, maybe a little less than that. And it
Mhm.
was involving a woman from Philly. So because we both have those Philly roots, I'm assuming, Octavia, that's why you were on the line. Did you
Yes,
know? Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
To hear Leslie Renee, and yes, so that's why I was there. Yes, and
Okay.
so yeah, so I saw your
Okay.
name. I saw the Hickenbotham name, and always was it's an odd name, but when I do run across people, I always say, well, you related to the Judge Higginbotham, and I'm inevitably no, no, no. So I just assumed I'm not going to ask this lady that. I mean, so it wasn't until you posted a couple weeks later your high school picture, and I said, "That's Helen. That's my Helen." And I said, "Oh my God!" And so I sent you a message. I sent you a message saying,
I'm trying to pull it up so I can show everybody how what
"Yeah,
she sent me online. So let me see if I can share
yeah."
this with you real quick. You think I'd be better at sharing screens by now, but I can't even tell you I am because I'm not. All right, let me see. Can you guys hear the dogs? Of course, because I'm outside now and they start barking. Can you hear them?
Mm-mm.
My ear is,
No?
No,
I don't know.
Oh,
no,
because they're really loud.
no.
Okay. But yeah, we are talking and wait a minute, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Um, this is when you need an assistant. Of course I don't.
Mhm.
It's just me. I'm a one-woman show. All right, so this is what I get in my box. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, like
So it
yeah.
says, "Hello, Helen." So this is so we did I did the program with Leslie, and and then Octavia sent me this note um because I have posted some pictures of myself as a teenager, which let me see if I can show you them. I have posted this picture. So she didn't recognize me, I don't think, from the when we were on. Can you all see this? Can you see my face?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes.
So I have posted this on Facebook, just joking. And I said, why am I smiling? I've always had a great smile in my high school pictures. I'm not smiling. So then Octavia pops in my inbox and she says, "Hey, Helen, I was an outpatient at Shriners in the 70s. There were very few Black people there. And there was this girl named Higginbotham. Are you that girl?" And I'm like, yes, Shriners kid. So, and the crazy thing is that I have always looked for the Shriners people, but because girls, you're pen pals, you change your name. We didn't stay in touch. So social media is a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
So this was me at Shriners. This is who she was in the hospital. And we're going to bring Dr. We'll have more of my infamous slideshow, but I just wanted to tell you that. So that's how we connected. And I just
Mhm.
thought this was so cool. And with so much craziness going on, I thought this is such a cool story. And let's bring some lightheartedness to what is a crazy world situation. Wait a minute, hold on. Which is a crazy world situation. Let's bring some happiness to people because I just thought it was hilarious. And then we decided that we didn't want to talk. We haven't talked. We haven't caught up. I don't know what she's been doing for the last 50 years. She doesn't know what I've been doing for the last 50 years. I can't believe it's been 50 years. But we also wanted to talk about Shriners Hospital because people need to understand what services are out there. And we got lucky because Dr. Pays, if you can unmute yourself, Dr. Pays, and I bring him in now because he's in the airport. He has a flight to catch. So I want to, capitalize on him while we have him. So we wanted to talk about our situation, which we're going to tell you all about the craziness that we went through 50 years ago. It has changed a lot. But we wanted Dr. Pays to come in and talk to us about his journey. He is a doctor at Shriners. He is also should I say survivor? Are we survivors of scoliosis? I don't know what's the proper thing to call us.
Why not? I like that word. That's a good one to use. Some people call you warriors. Like, you can say anything you want, whatever sounds tough. That's what you deserve.
So Dr. Page, tell us how you went from being a scoliosis patient to a surgeon, excuse me, and now you're at Shriners. How did that journey come about?
Yes, ma'am. And like I said, thank you guys for having me. I am so sorry I'm at the airport. This is totally rude. I'm actually on my way to another
We
Shriners.
can't hear you. They can't hear my dogs, and we can't hear your airport.
Oh, no.
I can hear. I can
Good.
hear. I can hear,
Okay.
Helen.
Okay. I'll talk a little. If I can't, ma'am, I'll talk on the phone. Let me know. You guys okay?
Yes.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Forgive me. So again, I apologize for talking in an airport. This is completely rude, but thank you guys for having me. I'm actually on my way to another Shriners for an outreach clinic in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's one of the missions is to go find people and great patients like you guys and bring them back to Philadelphia to take care of them, because we've been afforded a wonderful amount of resources in Philadelphia to take care of kids from all over the world. My brief story, because mine is nowhere near as interesting as you ladies. And again, it's an honor to be a part of this, but my sister was diagnosed about 13, 14. I was a little bit later, so I only had to wear a brace for about 1 year. I got lucky and my curve stayed about 33 degrees. But actually on my 18th birthday, they think my cause of scoliosis wasn't just idiopathic, but was a tumor that I had in my lower back. So on my 18th birthday, I had my back surgery to take out the tumor. I was in the hospital for 4 or 5 days, and then about 3 months later, I was out playing basketball. So that was certainly a big intervention or a moment for me to know that the impact that my surgeon had on me, and that I was able to get out and be active and playing college hoops after that. It was a huge inspiration for me. My grandmother was a physician, so she was my initial inspiration, and
I'm taking it, Dr. Page, that you did not wear this thing here, did you?
No, ma'am. That's one of the healthy ones. That's from 16 Candles. That's an old school Milwaukee brace. We've thankfully gotten a little better than that. Now the braces only go under the arms to your torso. Nothing into your neck.
Wow.
So you guys see this. This is what Octavia and I wore. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I wore it from 11 to 15. How long did you wear it, Octavia?
From 8 to 15.
8 to 15.
8 to 15. 8 to
Wow.
15. Yep. Yeah.
So Dr. Page, back in the day, the thinking was that they needed to, and we'll talk more about this when Dr. Page leaves. I just wanted to grab him while he was here. Dr. Page, back then they wanted to catch it before your 16th birthday. Is that still the case?
There's actually some really good studies now that show that bracing works. But again, thankfully, we don't have the braces that go up to your neck anymore. So they're still cumbersome, but much more comfortable. You only have to wear them for about 16 hours a day. We even have braces that you wear just at night. So I think you guys are correct in calling yourselves survivors, because we don't put kids through what you went through now, which is in a good way, but you guys blazed the trail for the newer innovations that we have now. So yes, forgive me, ma'am. What was your initial question? I got lost there in my babbling.
No, I was just wondering if it's so at that time they had to do the surgery because I spent my sweet 16. They do my surgery like a week before I turned 16, honestly.
Best way
And
to
there was
spend
this
those.
feeling, yeah, there was a feeling that it needed to be. How old were you when you had your surgery, Octavia?
Just about 15, almost 15. Yeah. They wanted, yeah, they said as you said, they wanted to do it before age 16. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So if we
Yeah.
can do it before it gets too big, what we can do, we don't have to, we're not restricted by age as much. Usually we wait till
Mhm.
after 10 or 11 years old when your chest has done most of its growing and your lungs have developed as much as close to what adults would be. But we don't have to wait until you're done growing and maybe the curve got bigger. So we had to fuse or operate on more of your spine. So if we can catch it early enough, we can put you in a brace, and the braces nowadays can prevent scoliosis surgery in about 75% of the patients. So it's much more effective nowadays, which is great. And you
Mhm.
only have to wear it for 16 hours instead of 22 or sometimes even 8 hours, which is really great. But again, thankfully, the instrumentation we have now is a little bit more advanced where you don't have to wait until they're done growing. You can do a little bit before then if you can, and maybe just fuse the top part and leave your lower back alone, because that's sometimes where things can degenerate over time.
Yeah. And doctor,
Yeah,
after the surgery, um, we were put in a body cast, and then well, I had the Harrington rods placed in, and then I was put in a body cast, and I had to remain, in bed for another 3 to 4 months. I mean, yeah. So she was 6 months. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
Not
again,
getting
it's
up at all. Not getting up at all. Yeah.
I think you two fit the bill of survivor by all.
Yeah.
We get our kids out of bed that night or the next morning, and
Yeah.
they're in the hospital for maybe 3 days, and then back at home. And in
Mhm.
about 6 weeks, we allow them to get back to all their sports, all their activities, roller coasters. And we say life is too short; we got to get going. But back in the day, they didn't have the kind of stronger instruments and implants that we have now, and so we're able to get them up and moving. Whereas before, just like if you broke your arm, you had to put it in a cast for it to heal. But now we have some things that could fix your arm if we broke it, allow you to get back earlier. So the same thing with the scoliosis surgeries, we can get you up and moving as soon as possible. And that's really helped the kids do much better and recover faster. So we're very lucky that we have now. And again, unfortunately, things have changed, but I'm sure, 50 years from now, we'll have one of those little ray guns. You can just zap over the
Yeah.
patients and magically fix them. So we'll see.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And the reason why Helen and I we met and we were inpatient together prior to the surgery, there was a whole nother sort of protocol of where we got in this contraction where it was weighted, like you had a head harness, and it had, pulley and then something at your feet, and then you were getting it for 20 minutes on the hour, and that was supposedly to stretch your spine. And we did that for about 3 months, away from our families. There were schools and things on the campus there at Shriners. Then it was in the Northeast, but yeah, it was very, very very intense. Yeah. Now,
I'm going
Doctor,
to show that
yeah.
to you as soon as I figure out how to pull it up. Because what we did, Dr. Hayes, I remember so well. So 11 to 15, I wore the brace. At 15 or so, they say, no, not working. And I don't remember the degree for my curve, but I think it was like 40. Do you remember what degree your curve was?
No, no,
I
no,
know.
I don't.
You used to know that like the back of your hand. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. Uh-huh.
But so we go to the hospital and you're in the hospital for 6 weeks getting prepped, stretched, and all these kinds of things to get ready for your surgery. Then they put you in what was called a risser, which was a body cast from here to your waist. And you walked around like this. And I
Mhm.
remember that mine was what do you call it? St. Patty's Day. So mine was green. So not only did I have on this ridiculous contraption, it was green. So they sent you home for that to walk around like a zombie for 6 weeks. And then you came back to the hospital and they prepped you for your surgery, whatever else that was. And then you had your surgery, which was a long surgery, like 8 hours or something, I remember. And then they sent you home in a body cast, and this time you're bedridden for 6 months. I could not get out of bed. So
Mhm.
my whole sophomore year of high school was like gone. And in terms of getting, like, I never took gym. Did you ever take gym after your surgery?
I had they accommodated me. I was in a small Catholic school. Yeah, they accommodated me, whatever. Yes. Yeah, so
Never took gym,
yeah.
told not to wear not to do anything physical that, you know, was traumatic, you know, so I
Yeah.
don't ride horses, don't fall, you
Yeah.
know, swim. I remember them saying swim, swim, swim.
Yeah.
So even to this day, I still don't do things that are, you know, pounding on my back in any kind of
Mhm.
way. So I had the fusion, which they took the ribs out of my, they took my rib, believe it or not, y'all, your ribs really grow back. So they cut my ribs and they fused them along the spine to make my spine straight. And do you want to tell them what you had, Octavia?
Similar, but they added, in my case, they added these stainless steel rods, and they call them Harrington rods on either side of my, is it on either side of the spine, Dr. Pays? I can't remember. Yeah. So that's what I had. And so that was a little,
Um,
yeah.
Yes,
so
ma'am. So,
Carolyn,
doctor,
was this,
they're
Carolyn,
not,
was this
what are they?
hereditary?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Was this hereditary?
They call it idio. I think, but it looks like they call everybody idiopathic. Is that right, doctor?
yes, ma'am. It does have a genetic component. We still haven't figured out the scoliosis gene, if you will. We think there's a lot of things that go on. So idiopathic means we're still not sure, which is impressive after all these years, but there definitely is a genetic component, meaning moms who have it have a higher chance for their daughters to have it, or dads have a higher chance to pass on to their kids, but it's not 100%. There's even identical twins who one has it and one doesn't, but there's definitely a genetic component to it.
Is it still a girl's disease?
Yes, ma'am. It's about 8 or 10 to 1 girls to boys in adolescence. In the earlier onset, the kids who have it that develop before 10, it's a little more balanced, but still a little more girls to boys. And again, not sure why, just luck or unluck of the draw, it seems.
Am I sharing the screen, guys?
No.
No, no.
Oh, I'm not. Hold on. I want to show you the contraption that we had to get in. Let me see something here. Okay, there it is. Do y'all see that?
Not
Do
yet.
you see that?
Oh, now I do.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So
Yes.
go ahead and describe that,
Very.
Dr. Pays. I'm sure they're not doing this anymore, are they? Say no.
No, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. We have much fancier things from the inside.
So
It is
do you guys
some.
see that?
Yes.
Go ahead, Dr. Pays. Keep talking. Tell us about it.
So what this does, and it's interesting you say this. So for little babies, we do this. For kids 1 to 3 years, we can put just
It's
like
going in and out. There's a
we don't
harness
do this
around
anymore.
your neck.
Mhm.
And are there weights at the bottom of it? How is it stretching you?
There's
There's
a little
weights.
strap around your hip, and yes, ma'am, they actually have a crank. It sounds very medieval.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be
That's
awake.
medieval.
And for
So
me, go ahead, Dr. Pays.
I was gonna, forgive me, ma'am. So, yes, we have much more modern instrumentations that allow us to gently and safely stretch the spine from the inside. The surgeries now are about 3 or 4 hours long, so much faster. And then we're done. And just like we said, so we do use these rods. We attach them to metal screws. We put into the bones and hold the spine in a straighter position for the rest of your days. But this was back in the day where we didn't have anything from the inside to stretch your spine out, so we had to do it externally, and then hold you that way for 6 months until all the bones fused together. But now we have the metal rods and these screws that are left in forever. They're meant to be that way. There's only about a 5 to 10% chance you'd need another operation over your lifetime. So I think you ladies are, again, trailblazers, survivors. You got all kinds of wonderful words we could use to describe both of you. But you know, again, we've evolved over what we've learned from wonderful ladies like you over the years.
Now, Dr. Pays, I have since had 2 other back surgeries with like 219 and 222. But so I'm still dealing with a few issues. But yeah, yeah.
I think what we've learned also is what we did on the past from patients like you and how we treated them, and then how they've ended up over 20, 30, 40 years later. And now we're much more appreciative and cognizant of the three-dimensional anatomy. It's not just a curve where your spine shifts to the side, but it rotates and spins around. And now with our modern techniques, we're able to kind of restore, we say, your three-dimensional anatomy. And we think that by doing that, but also fusing less of your spine, whereas before we used to basically do almost the whole thing,
Yeah.
leave more of your spine alone, and that will allow you to, for the most part, we think so far, over about 20, 30 years we've been studying these patients, to do well into adulthood. So it's reducing that chance you have to come back for surgery. We think, again, just unfortunate, what we've learned from young ladies like you and Helen.
Yeah. Mhm.
I just have to tell you, I had seen a movie, and I don't do scary flicks. There was a movie called Mark of the Devil. It was a B flick. You probably never heard of it. I don't even know why. I remember it only because a few months later, I find myself in that very contraption that they were using as a torture chamber in that movie. So when they were trying to, honestly, so when they're trying to stretch me, and my back is not as straight as it could be, and they were like, they told my mom she just couldn't take it because all I could think of was that movie and how it was used as a torture chamber. So yeah, and then remember when they put you in your wrisser, they put you on that thing, they stretch you as much as you can take it, and then they wrap this plaster of Paris body cast around you, and you had to stay there until it dried.
Mhm. Yeah.
But Carrie, and I want you to ask your question real quick because I know Dr. Pace has to get out of here, and there's a few other things I want him to be sure and share with us. Go ahead, Carrie, and what's your question?
Hey, Dr. Pace, thank you so much for being on with us, and I appreciate it. So my son has scoliosis. He's now 25, and I was just trying to survive when I had him. So, of course, never looked into surgery and all of that. But do they do surgery now on adults? Because he has severe back pain now, and he does. I don't remember his curvature now, but he struggles now.
They do, and it's sort of for adults, or the scoliosis will do that if it's becoming progressive. If you have scoliosis, it doesn't necessarily be the cause of the pain. So sometimes, even though you have a curve in your back, the pain generator, what's causing your pain, might be something smaller. So the surgeons nowadays, or the spine doctors, can look, and sometimes they can find something smaller to do a smaller procedure rather than a much longer one to straighten the curve, but that might make your back feel much better, whether it's a pinched nerve or arthritis at the bottom of your back. So long and short of it is, there's definitely options out there for adults. It doesn't always involve as extensive an operation as you guys had as adolescents. For those that didn't have it treated when they were an adolescent, they can follow you on a regular basis, like sort of every 5 years or so, to make sure that curve isn't getting worse, to try to prolong the time that you need surgery. So sometimes they can treat with physical therapy or other means. But if and when you do the surgery, yes, there aren't as many centers that take care of these operations around the country, but there's definitely in the bigger cities, they'll have those folks that take care of we call them adult scoliosis patients. But it's untreated ones that are progressive certainly can be uncomfortable and do require, monitoring and sometimes a surgery. But even those in the adults are still a big operation, but one that you can recover from. You can get back to work, back on your feet. And it is the success rate is certainly increasing.
Speaking of that, Dr. Hayes, when we went through it, and I forgot until Octavia reminded me that we had to have sponsors. Is that still the case, that you have to have a Shriner sponsor you for Shriners Hospital?
No, ma'am. So the Shriners themselves are still very much involved. Our lights are on because of good people like you, but also because of the Shriners and all the donations that we get. So we have our endowment. So you're able to just, contact any Shriners near you and come in as a patient. We take care of kids from 0 to 21, regardless of your ability to pay. So whether you have nothing or you're a billionaire, you can come to the Shrine. We're happy to take care of you. we sort of take the cost part out of the situation. So we have evolved that if you do have insurance, we can sometimes take it to offset the cost of your care. But again, we take care of kids from all over the world, and it's been a real honor to do so with all kinds of problems, not just scoliosis, but upper extremity, lower extremity issues, rehab issues. We have soft lip and palate, burn surgery. So the Shrine has really expanded its reach over the years, but we're very lucky to be a part of it, and it's alive and well. It's a great organization. Thank you for promoting it too.
And you hit all my questions I was going to ask you, because, and your locations, how many around the country? 20 something, I think Octavia said.
There's 22 in North America, 20 in North America. So there's one in Montreal and one in Mexico City. And then there's all the way one out in Honolulu, and from Philadelphia down to Shreveport, Louisiana, all the way out to Northern California and Spokane, Washington. So we kind of cover the entire country. So there's not one too far away from you. And if you do live far away, as we say, we do outreach clinics to bring them into the major centers to limit the travel burden on the families. Sometimes the Shriners themselves will sponsor travel for the patients if that's a burden on the families, to try to, again, reduce that burden on the families and just focus on their care.
Yeah, we had to we went to clinic. First of all, do you know what Shriners used to be called?
I do. It's on the wall, but we've painted over it since then, thankfully.
Well, we were at the hospital. The hospital was on Roosevelt Boulevard. And there was a big sign out front, everybody, and it said Shriners Hospital for Crippled Children. That's what it was called. And I have to say, even when I think about being a Shriners kid, I don't think I ever, and Octavia, maybe you can chime in. I thought of myself as being disabled. Did you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Even though I wore that brace, I mean, I did everything. I was playing in the schoolyard. Like I said, I didn't take the full regime of the gym activities, but the nuns were always encouraging me to participate. I thought I had a lot of support. So I never felt sort of alienated or left out. So no, not at all.
Yeah, me either. Of course, I was not a heavy dater. No, I wore maternity with that brace. You had to wear maternity clothes. I did. I wore stretch pants and smock tops. I don't think people even know what smock tops are anymore. Do they even? I don't think pregnant women don't even wear smock tops anymore. But yeah, so I wasn't like the hot. No, but thanks to that brace, I had a great shape when I came out of it. And I remember as Shriners, and our doctor was Dr. Steele. Is Dr. Steele still living, or what's up with Dr. Steele?
He passed away several years ago, but I was fortunate enough to be one of the last residents to do his clinic. But he was one of the smartest individuals I've ever met. And there is still a Howard Steele lecture at the Scoliosis Research Society every year. And he is still, one of the greatest and one of the leaders in scoliosis surgery of all time. He is definitely set the foundation. So you had at the time and up until a couple of years ago, probably the best in the world taking care of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was great. I remember he was just always very accessible, and he'd come in and talk to the kids and anybody who's been on Atlantic City Boardwalk. I guess, is it still there? Steele's Water Taffy?
I believe so. I know that's a Steel Fudge. Yes.
Is it fudge? I thought it was a water. Okay, yeah. What did I say?
So. Taffy. You're right. Forgive me.
Yeah. Is it still there? I don't live in Jersey anymore.
I think so. Not 100%.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm glad to hear that it's still free. And I remember that I'm glad that it's not income driven, because a lot of people know that. And if there's anything that I want people to take away from your involvement in this call, is that it's available. When I see children who have orthopedic abnormalities, I always think, oh my God, it's just so unnecessary, because whether it's bow legs or just all kinds of things. And kids were there from all over. We're trying to find the other women. We're hopeful that as a result of this, we'll be able to find some of the other people who were in the hospital with us. But, people were from everywhere. And one I remember, a lot of people were from Puerto Rico. So is there a hospital in Puerto Rico now, since there were so many kids coming from there?
Dr. Steele started that, I believe, in 1966, I think, the Puerto Rico Outreach Clinic. He was there, I believe, on vacation and just noted the disparity in healthcare. And so he set up a mission where every year, twice a year, we go down to see patients. And again, anyone that needs a procedure or treatment, we bring them back to Philadelphia. And so we've been doing that for 60 years now. He set that foundation. It's still alive and well. We're there in April. We'll be going back in November, and yeah, hundreds of kids from there. It's been a real blessing to take care of that, or continue that legacy.
Anybody who has a family member and the age is, was it always 21? Was it always? Yeah. So what does it start? What age does it start with? From what to 21? Oh,
0.
from newborn.
Newborns. We'll see little kids with club feet, or Dr. Kozin, our chief, our emeritus chief, takes care of kids with birth palsy. They can trouble with their arms right after they're born. So literally 1 week olds all the way until you're 21.
And if people want to support Shriners, how can they do that?
So you can go to shrinersphilly.org or shrinerschildrens.org. Both of them will can give you information about our institution, all the sites throughout the country. And you can follow us on social media, Shriners Philly, and you'll just see a number of really inspiring stories. And I think, again, it all stems from folks like you. And I think things like this are a huge inspiration for the young women out there now who are going through it, who are thinking life is over and, you know, they got this disease, they're going to be crippled forever. And it's not true. And I think you guys are two wonderful examples of there is life after surgery, and especially been through what you guys did, which is way more than, you know, what's going on these days is such an inspiration. And I think it's you guys sharing this with this forum now, but also putting it out there on YouTube that everybody can see it. I think is going to help out the next generation of the next generation, just continue to pay it forward. So we're really blessed to have you guys with us.
Thank you. Octavia, did you have a parting question for Dr. Hayes? I don't want him to miss his flight.
No, just thank you, Dr. Pace, for what you continue to do. I mean, I'm really appreciative. And I did see Dr. Steele one last time because I actually brought my son, who's now 26. This is maybe about 2000, I don't know, like 10 or 11. But yeah, I did have a chance to see Dr. Steele, you know, in his waning days. But I felt honored. But my son didn't have to go through the procedure. You know, we decided not to follow through with the intensity that I had undergone. But I'm so glad you guys are still around. You know, a really, really moving point in my life. Just like Helen was saying, kids came from all over the world, and not just us with scoliosis. I mean, it was kids with like cerebral palsy and spinal bifida and so many things. And you really learned that the body is not the most important thing sometimes, you know? You really kind of appreciate the soul. And that's what I got as a kid. You know? So.
I couldn't agree more. I bring my kids to the hospital as much as I can so they can see everything that's out there. They can meet people from all over the world who've got a lot of other things going on than just, you know, too much homework, or, you know, the air conditioning isn't working well, it's too hot outside. So yeah. I think it does give everybody appreciation for all that we're blessed with, but and perspective. But again, through everyone's support, the Shriner is alive and well and doing great. And, you know, again, we'll be taking care of kids for the next 50 or 100 years. We're celebrating our 100th anniversary, I believe, next year. So it's alive and well. And again, I can't thank you guys enough. It's such a wonderful pleasure and honor to meet you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. I forgot to give a shout out. I know my friend is on here. You're from Cleveland. She's from Cleveland. Is there a hospital in Cleveland?
Unfortunately not. I wish there was, or I'd move back home. My mom would be very happy. There's one in Dayton, but not one, and one in Erie. So we just kind of split it. So I'm going to Erie because I used to be able to go there and see my mom, and it's almost home, but not quite there.
Let me ask you, they still have clinics? Because I think we came to clinic like, what was it, Octavia, every 6 months or something?
Yeah, because I guess as we were growing, they had to, that that
adjust your
middle part
pad
of the
on.
brace and then lift up.
Yeah.
And those brace guys, those gentlemen who did that, no, they were the best. I thought they were so caring and loving. You didn't have that experience, Helen? They were
Oh
just,
yeah, I mean
oh
everybody
yeah.
was great.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like, oh my God, I have to go to the hospital. All staff members at that place were so indulging, so caring. I mean, I don't know yeah, it wasn't because a lot of people actually I think felt sorry, for me, but I felt I had some of the most incredible people in our community, whether it was the kids or the staff of the hospital, the nurses. I mean, you guys, the parents, how the parents indulged us, the volunteers, the Shriners had parties like, almost every other week on that beautiful ground. Yeah, we were well cared for. And to think that it didn't cost anything, for years. So I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed by my time there.
I think that's so wonderful to hear, and I think it's emblematic of everyone that works at this shrine. I'm certainly biased, but I think Dr. Steele set the foundation.
Mhm.
And people go there, want to work there. They want to work because they believe in the mission. They believe a part of it. To be a part of the hospital is something more than just working at a hospital. It's working for the mission and all that it stands for. And that's again what makes it just so rewarding to be a part of that. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad you had a good experience, albeit a tough one, that you had enough support through the staff, but other patients and families, and that's still alive and well today. And it's so great to hear that's the way it was, and we're going to try to continue that moving forward.
Thank you. Mhm.
Right. I was trying to scan the questions real quick to see if we got somebody asked what hospital Dr. Hayes is from. He is at the Philadelphia Hospital, which is where
Right.
Octavia and I were.
Mhm.
And I think somebody's saying, thank you, Dr. Hayes. Safe travels. And I'm going to let you go. We may
Thank
ask
you
you to
very
come
much.
back again when we can have a more expansive conversation. But I'm so glad that we were able to get you on and share some of the conditions of what's happening around scoliosis now, so that people know it's not a death sentence. And if your kid needs a surgery, like, don't fight it, because two people that have reached out to me who one said her father knew she needed it. They knew she needed it, but her father refused. And a guy that I grew up with, he saw what I was going through and he was not about to go through it. And he suffered tremendously as a grown-up and wished that he had done it. So, I mean, it's just so worth it. So thank you, Dr. Hayes. Have a good flight, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much. Yes,
Thank
I
you.
hope I can come visit you when I'm not at an airport, and so hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. But I did see one comment in the chat that said we're going to look for you at the 100th anniversary. So we're going to reach out to you, and you guys are going to
Yes.
come be the poster ladies. Okay.
Right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, ladies. Have a wonderful day. It's such a
Thank
pleasure and
you.
honor
Thank
to meet
you.
you all.
You
Have a
too.
good
Safe
flight.
travels. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Doctor. Mhm.
All right, so Octavia, let's chat. What have you been doing for 50 years? First of all, let's talk about this whole, I think I've rushed through it because, so ideally, folks, we were hoping that Octavia and I would talk first, and then we would have Dr. Hayes come on, and then you all would be able to ask questions, because I'm sure that people have questions that Octavia and I cannot answer. But since he had, he was available, so we had to take him when we could get him. He is a doctor. So it's just interesting the way that this all shook out and the way that we met, and the way that we found each other. Because over the years, I was telling Octavia, I still have a letter from her on a purple stationery, and she was a, we were pen pals. Like, I bet some people on this call don't even know what a pen pal is, because it's so primitive.
Yeah, letter writing was a big part of this experience, because you would, go in and out of the hospital, and like you said, people were from all over. And yeah, I took my letter writing very seriously. But yeah, so I'm glad you have some of those. But I continued on to obviously to school. I went on to Girls High, graduated, went on to college, came back.
Where'd you go to school, Octavia?
I went to Williams College and then Drexel. And then my husband was from the Ivory Coast. He was student here at Penn. When he graduated, I went back with him. I stayed there, for many years. My kids were born there. And then I came back to the States in 2002 when Cote d'Ivoire was having some civil strife. And unfortunately, I lost my husband, so I had to rebuild again here. But my family was here, my friends, everybody was supportive. I continued to teach. I taught over there in the Ivory Coast at the International School in Abidjan, and then I came back here to the Philadelphia School District, and I just retired last year. Yeah.
That's fabulous. So it's funny because both of us are writers. I write a lot too, and I see you have a blog, I have a blog, so that much we know about each other.
Yeah.
So
So
when
how
I
about you?
finished, because I'm going, let me say, I was a sophomore, so I literally missed my whole sophomore year. And I remember, the tutors coming to the house, and when we were at the hospital, we had tutors tutors there. Because it's a lengthy process. I think it began maybe like in February, and by the time I'm actually having surgery, no, so I have surgery like in May, and by the time I get up to walk, it's November. So that's your whole. The only good thing was I didn't have to take biology because I didn't want to dissect a frog. So I didn't have to do that. But after high school, I went to local college. I went to Glassboro State, which is now Rowan, and I ended up being a professor there. My mother passed away, and I think a lot of the kids from that time. Are your parents still living?
No, they're not. 2018, my dad passed. So they're not with us anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were saying about the parents because the parents were so involved in our experience there. So
Yeah.
everybody knew everybody's parents.
Right.
And if your mom didn't bring you something, somebody else's mom bought it. There was a volunteer couple named Nancy and Al. They were just people from the neighborhood. I think you said you don't remember
No, I don't
them.
remember them. No.
Oh, they were so wonderful.
Yeah.
They were just people in the neighborhood, hippies, and they
Yeah.
would come and hippies. They were hip people,
Right.
let me say that. But they
Yeah.
would come and they would bring whatever you needed, ice cream, coloring books, whatever the kids wanted, they would be sure to bring us. So it was just a fabulous thing. But anyway, so after I finished, I went to Glassboro State, majored in sociology with a minor in Spanish. And then I think we both have the travel bug. I spent my last semester abroad in Spain at the University of Valencia. And that started me traveling. And since then, I've been on 6 of the 7 continents and, several countries in Africa. I lived abroad a couple of times. And then I went to Howard, got an MBA, moved to California. I've lived in a zillion places and doing all kinds of things. So I got an MBA and then had a job that I loved with an airline and worked for a horrible woman. And 9/11 allowed her to get rid of those of us who she didn't want anymore, which is what she did. And then I went to law school and at Rutgers. So there we were, right across the bridge from each other, because I was at Rutgers in Camden and you were right across the bridge, and who knew?
Yes.
So that's been my journey. And now, I just travel a lot and I'm ready to retire. In my mind, I think I'm retired, but really I'm not. So, because I've had a wonderful life. I've traveled, lived life on my terms.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I'm still working.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So in terms of your procedure, so tell them what the rod entails, and I think I have a picture of the rod. There's back then there were two two ways that they could resolve your scoliosis. They could, if the brace didn't work, then you had to have surgery. And the one surgery, like I was saying, was they would take out your ribs, which if you look at me, I have a scar down the center of my back, and then on my right shoulder blade, I have another scar that's the length of my shoulder. And they took out the ribs, which doesn't make sense to me, but they fuse your ribs along your spine. And when you're laying in bed for those 6 months that I had to stay in bed, believe it or not, your ribs would grow back in that amount of time. So, I mean, that was just amazing to think that your ribs would grow back.
Yeah.
And then you had another procedure.
I had the rod where I had this stainless steel rods placed in called Harrington rods, which I mean, they don't, obviously, a lot of this they don't even do, but definitely not placing those types of, materials in your back. And so when I had the two other surgeries for my back, they didn't even want to go through my back. They actually went through my stomach, and they did it with robotics. So that's why I was sort of open to it, because I needed some relief, because I was having problems standing for a period of times, and I couldn't walk long distances. And that had only started happening, later. And so so I did get some relief with that, but I still have a couple other issues. But yeah, the surgery was life-changing from back then into what I had recently, for sure, for sure.
So fortunately for me, I've not. So I think as I'm getting older, I do think my body is probably shifting a little.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times people will say, are you in pain or 'cause it look like you're limping? And I'm not I don't, in my mind, I'm not limping. But I
Right,
always saw, so when they diagnosed me, they said it was idiopathic. And
right.
idiopathic means that the cause is unknown. And I just
Right.
think they tell everybody that.
Yes.
I had a situation in maybe fifth grade, and I was on the parallel bars and I was showing off, no question. And my hands, you're doing the hand swing or whatever, and my
Right.
hands came off of the parallel bars, and I went up in the air and flopped right on the ground. So my
Mm.
grandmother, because in her mind, her children could only be perfect. She loved to tell people that's how I got scoliosis, but I don't think so. Well, actually, I'm sure not. But yeah. But how were you diagnosed?
Well, I was
Who
going
saw your
for, yeah, I was going to see my regular pediatrician, and he had noted when I was about 8, he told my mom that he thought that he's seeing a curvature, we should be looking out for it. And then we would see Dr. Favor every 6 months. So that second time I came around, he said, "Listen, you guys need to go to Children's Hospital and just have them check it out." And so I went to Children's Hospital, and they said they really definitely thought I would benefit from being in a brace. But it was so expensive. And we just went on this journey from Children's Hospital. I think we went to Temple. There was one, I think at that time, there was one Black orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Anthony. He had a practice down on Lombard Street, who many years later, I would, I would meet his daughter, who would be in the Ivory Coast, a Black American lawyer. But anyway, we went to Dr. Anthony, and then he told us about Shriners. But then there was that whole thing of getting a sponsor. Because I don't know if people realize that could have been that was very intense. You just couldn't go and avail yourselves of the services. And us being Black girls, you didn't necessarily have that foray into the Shriners, which was basically a white organization. But Dr. Anthony had friends who were who were Masons, and one of his friends had a friendship with a white Shriner, and that was the way I got sponsorship. So through those friendships, so that's how I ended up there. Mhm. I can't hear you, Helen. You're muted. Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up the pictures because I did rush through them, and there is a request for me to show them again, and I do want you all to see them. Because we wore that brace for 23 hours every day. You were only allowed to take it off to take a shower.
Mhm.
And my mother would let me take it off every now and then and maybe go
Yeah.
to a party or whatever. But for the
Mhm.
most part, 23, 23 hours of 23 of the 24 hours you wore. So you slept in it. And
Mhm.
remember, did you have a retainer?
Yes. I mean, those guys back then, at least they made connections with things, which I don't think doctors do now. They realized with that chin rest, it was going to affect, something in terms of how our protrusion or our teeth or whatever. Yes, we all had retainers. We all saw a dentist over those years. I mean,
That's
you
right.
know,
Because
yeah.
I think the thinking was, is this thing was under your neck and you're sleeping and there's nowhere for your tongue to go. So your tongue
Uh-huh.
would press against your teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And so you wore so we wore retainers to keep your teeth from not going
yeah.
up.
Um,
Yeah. So your children, so did anybody else in your family have
well, they
scoliosis?
said everyone's pretty, I mean, I'm the shortest one. I'm like 5'8", but my son's like 6'3", my daughter's 6'1". They uh they did think maybe my son had some, you know, a mild case of it. Like I said, I did visit the Shriners Hospital here on Broad Street. And, you know, after consulting with them and then at Rothman, I decided not to pursue it. And he's fine. He's nice. He's fine. He's fine.
So that's what I wish I had gotten Dr. Pays to talk more about, people who didn't, because everybody doesn't need surgery.
Yeah.
And if it's, so I remember that there were 5 kids in our family. So all 5 of us got tested. I was the only one who had it enough where there had to be some intervention.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I don't think anybody has problems with their backs. So just the fact that you have been diagnosed with it, I don't know why I can't find what I'm looking for. Just the fact that you've been diagnosed with it doesn't mean that you're going to end up with back problems down the road. Not at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. And just a response, I see I just wanted to say something to C. Johnson's comment. That, I mean,
What
that
is
is
your
so well, she's saying that it sounds like they practice what was it, medicine and not just specialized care, right? I mean, it was just all aspects of us, and especially in that when we as inpatients. I mean, a lot of us were teenage girls, you know what I mean? And you're going through all kinds of things, you know, with your bodies and, you know, and they addressed all of those aspects of us. So I don't think that, you know, I think that's one reason why we didn't feel so so devastated by the experience. I always felt supported, you know, and even in my neighborhood, if somebody came in the neighborhood and saw me and they were an outsider and wanted to bother me, the neighborhood kids were like, they were so protective. So I always felt, you know, I wasn't on my own. I'll put it that
So
way.
you guys
Yeah.
can see this brace? Am I sharing my
Yeah.
screen?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's, as
That
you
was
see, this is the neck part, right? So that went up under your neck. And this part here, I don't know if you can see where my cursor is. That part
Yes.
is where your chin rested there. Remember these 2 things. I'm surprised it didn't take our hair out. But this was a halo kind of thing around your neck. And then you had the 2 bars in the back. You can see the 2
Mhm.
bars, and you had the 1 bar down the front. And then you had, I think the ones we wore didn't have this metal thing on the outside, but it definitely was a leather case of some sort around your waist. So I remember the doctor saying you will not have a stomach. And I didn't have a stomach for a long time because my
Listen,
body
I
had
had
been,
a stomach. You said
I
you had to
didn't.
keep because yeah, I didn't, yeah, I had I had my little tummy, but yes.
I don't know, honey. I had a shape to die for. I had a flat stomach for many, many, many years. Not more. But and then you see here, these were the pads. So they would decide what was the so if whatever side of so there was an S curve that your body was literally an S. Your spine was like an S, and then there was a C curve. So the
Mhm.
danger of not getting this treated is that as your spine continues to curve, it has nowhere to go. So it starts affecting your internal organs. So you have to get something done. So this pad here would go against wherever. So mine was on the right side. So this would be pressed against my right shoulder blade. What was this piece here? I don't remember what this piece here was. Octavia, what was this for?
We can't hear you, Helen.
You can't.
Hello.
You just frozen. Oh,
Mhm.
Ah, man. Okay, can you hear me now?
There you are.
yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you
yeah,
now.
yes,
Sorry, it's telling me my internet connection is unstable. Okay, Octavia. So I was saying, can you hear me now?
yes, yes.
Okay, so this part here was for wherever your curve was. So it went against that, whatever shoulder blade. Mine was on the right side, so mine was there. But Octavia, I don't remember what this strap was for. What was this for? Do you remember?
Oh, no. No, I
Oh,
don't,
shoot,
no, I don't remember
that was
that
a
detail.
nightmare. I forgot it on purpose. But yeah, so that was what we had to deal with. And let me see what other pictures are interest. Octavia, you had some articles that you had pulled. If you want to drop them in the chats, if she's like, yeah, I did. And one of our conversations we were sharing
I don't remember.
online. But I
Oh,
think I have them on the email.
um,
I have them on the email.
uh-huh.
So the thing that I want people to walk away from this, did you have my mother was concerned because I have a large scar that goes from the base of my neck all the way down to my back. And for me, I was in the hospital longer because I developed an infection in my scar. And they would come in, oh, you're finished. You know, the pain was unreal.
Right.
But for me, as it was healing, they would come in and they had to open it up and drain it. So that kept me in the hospital a little longer, and I had to endure pain that you probably didn't have to
No,
endure.
no, I didn't have,
Um,
no,
but somebody had asked did we have pain? I never, ever had back pain prior to.
no.
Did you?
No back pain. I had my 2 children, no problems. It's only within the last, like I said, few years, I started to have some problems, like I said, walking and standing for periods of time. And so it was enough where I considered surgery again, it was painful enough. So yeah. Yeah, because I think I think the girls who got the rods, they ended up with more problems. That's what I'm hearing just anecdotally. And one of the sites that I'm in on Facebook, the Scoliosis Warriors, women over 50. That's the common thing. The girls who got the rods. I mean, mine's is mild. Some people are, in absolute agony. Um, so yeah, so. But I did write, I will share something. I did write something like maybe a month ago, um, with regard to when I was in Shriners Hospital. This is when I was coming for one of my outpatient appointments. And I was with my father, and it was a little girl speaking, black girl, a dark-skinned black girl speaking Spanish. And I don't know why I was so surprised. And I remember a very, very specific conversation. My dad, so gentle, he was such a wonderful man, explaining to me all the possibilities of where this girl could be from, but she was from Puerto Rico. But I mean, that just kind of opened up my world. I'm just thinking, oh God, we could be from here and here and here and here. And I just thought, wow, I was just so impressed and so committed. Like, I'm gonna learn some languages now. But I just remember with so many opportunities that we had there were presented with, just expanded our horizons, with those kids. Now you're
You're
muted.
muted again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna find that.
You're still muted, Helen.
I'm sorry, I keep muting myself because there's dogs barking in the background, and then I'm over on another screen trying to pull up other stuff, so forgive me. Judy, you had a question. What was your question, babe?
Oh, I was just asking whether or not you ladies are able to lift weights or strength train.
Yes. If you see, I don't know if yes, I am. But I'm sorry, I was trying to find that article. But listen, ladies, right behind me. Because I have another room. You see, I have all my weights. You see here? And I have more on the table. Yeah, so I do because, after 50, we're losing our muscle mass. And so, yeah, I'm very conscious, and I go swimming 3 times a week. Yeah, yes, yeah. Obviously, I'm not doing heavy lifting, but I definitely lift weights. I mean, the hand weights. So, yes,
Thank you.
yeah.
I specifically remember, am I muted? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I specifically remember them telling us to learn how to swim. And I want you
Yes.
to know that I've taken swimming lessons probably 3 times, and I still can't swim. And I'm a beach bum. People probably can't believe that because they know I'm always at the beach. I can't swim a lick.
Oh, boy.
But they were saying that that's the healthiest exercise for your entire body and certainly for your back.
Yeah.
There's an article. I just added the article that you had shared with me earlier,
Ah,
Octavia.
okay.
Yeah.
Try water aerobics, Helen.
I'm sorry.
Try water aerobics.
Oh
You don't
yeah.
have to swim. And that's good exercise. That'll be good. You just do what you can in the water.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've done that. Yeah.
Okay.
Water aerobics. Anybody have any questions for either of us? There's a couple of people reached out. Like I said, one person told me that her father, they knew she had the scoliosis, but her father would not let her have the surgery. And she's my age, maybe a little older, and she has severe back problems now.
Yeah, because yeah, when I've seen people over the years where you can see, oh wow, they had untreated scoliosis, and some are very disfigured, beautiful people, and yeah, um, so it is key, getting the care. And like you said, it's free, and these are like state-of-the-art facilities. Even back then, I mean, now those procedures may seem draconian, but there's, whatever the latest thing is, those they have it. They have it. You know.
And I wonder, I'm going to guess that they still have the same support system. I have to tell you, I have reached out to Shriners to ask about doing volunteer work or being on a board or just whatever. Let me do something. And I do give them donations. Not a lot, but they're part of my monthly donation. If I ever get a lot of money, oh, trust me, they're high on the hall. They're high on the list to
Yeah.
get it. But I guess people are so crazy now, right? You can't just let people come hang out in the hospital because I'm telling you, Nancy and Al came every Sunday or whatever day of the week it was, and they had access to all of us. And nobody, I don't know, I guess they probably did some kind of background check. I don't know. But now you can't, so it's unfortunate. Judy, is that a new hand or is that an old hand?
A new one, but both of you ladies said you'd never had any real symptoms beforehand. And I was just wondering sort of what symptoms would people actually have at that young age to determine. I guess it seems like your doctor has to notice it when they're examining your back or something.
I'm glad you asked that, Judy. So, in every family, there's a very special person, right? They're very animated, like to, take a little drink or whatever. So, of course, I had an aunt like that, and nobody would pay her any attention for anything. So, we were at our house, everybody was at my house, and my mother used to call me Lisa, and she looked and she said, I had on a striped dress, and she noticed that the stripes were not smooth. Mind you, this is somebody that you probably would not have paid a whole lot of attention, but she knew exactly what she was talking about. She noticed that the stripes on my dress were curved. And then everybody else noticed it too. And that's how mine was diagnosed, because it was after we go through what we go through when they start testing in the school. They were not testing in school when I, when I first got scoliosis. And now it's just a matter of bend over. And it became a part of your physical to get into school. They were checking kids for scoliosis. But yeah, so that's how'd yours get diagnosed? You said to your doctor, you said your
Through my
pediatrician.
doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. So mommy, of course, rushes me to the hospital. I think it was a holiday weekend, right? So we're at the hospital, like, what's wrong with her? Whatever. And
But
of course they had
some kids really did have pronounced curves,
Yeah.
I mean, they were
Especially-
really,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word,
Yeah, hunchback. Remember,
Yes,
you will be a hunchback if you don't
Yes.
get it.
yeah, but you had some girls in there, and there was a boys' ward, but yeah, very, very advanced stages, young, you could see it. They were just completely curved over, had a hunch, yeah.
Yeah, so which was not the case for me
Yeah.
either. But yeah, that's how I love that story. So I'm not gonna call my aunt by name. She's deceased anyway, but
Yeah.
her daughter, I said, your mom is the one who first saw my scoliosis, right? She had a hawk eye. She was like, something wrong with her back. And she saw it. But anyway, go ahead, Carrie Ann. Another question. Go ahead.
Um, he had mentioned something about cerebral palsy, that they also treat cerebral palsy.
Oh, kids
Yeah.
had all
Yep.
kinds of stuff.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean, the kids who had scoliosis, honestly, were probably I
That.
don't want to say luckiest, but
Yeah. Yep.
we were
Yeah.
the least, I don't even like the word afflicted, but that's,
Yeah.
we,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. We were
I
mobile.
mean,
We could move around. I mean, I was always in the my little crew in the children's ward because we built some the younger kids. And yeah, some kids, I mean, the mothers were taking some of those birth control things that had long since been banned. Kids were built, born without their limbs. I mean, all kinds of things. But so we were, but you built relationships with people, especially those younger kids, and taking them out on the grounds, and because like I said, the grounds were beautiful up there. Um, Urban, rural. I mean, do you remember the deer? You remember seeing the deer often, Helen, or
I
no?
remember, I coming from Jersey, I
Uh-huh.
remember it just seemed like we had to go so far. And basically it was because the traffic was, because now I would drive to Northeast Philly and think nothing of it.
Oh
But
no,
back
it's
then
yeah,
for my mom, that was quite an ordeal. And it was
yes,
a family thing, like who's going to the
yep,
hospital? And it was an all
yep,
day. You'd be at the clinic all
yeah,
day. Because
yep,
with that brace, they had to keep adjusting it. So as your
yes,
curve, got better, they put more pressure, they changed
yeah,
the direction of it. So
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah,
I remember, but I don't remember if it was 8400 or Roosevelt
yeah,
Boulevard
yeah,
or
8400.
76.
No,
Oh, 8400.
8400, 8400. Listen, those
Beautiful,
letters.
beautiful building.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
hospital at all.
mhm,
And we were like in wards. So,
yeah.
and she said I was in the big kids ward.
Yeah, she was like, "Yeah, you guys are like the big teenagers." We were like, it's only a year difference, you know what I mean? And it's like we're in the back part. Yeah. Oh God.
Remember, it was just a room, a ward where I know lots of beds. If you can think
Well,
back, like, yeah,
yeah.
it's just so primitive. It's like 50 years ago,
Uh-huh.
man. There were beds, maybe 12 beds or whatever, and you were all there together. And it was just, yeah, definitely a lot of community.
Yeah.
Um, Maxine, you had a question, babe?
Two quick ones. I was just curious, how were they able to alleviate the pain, or what did they give you for pain back then? I know they didn't want to have kids addicted to painkillers, but that was my first question. The second question was, and I think the doctor may have touched on it, but why is it more common in females than males?
Well, now I don't know what they gave us after our operation, but I mean, other than maybe that period, I was never in pain during that
Oh, okay.
process. No, I was never in pain.
Oh,
No.
great.
Yeah, I was never
But
in
they
pain.
had to have us on some heavy drugs
I
after
mean,
surgery.
afterwards, oh yeah, I remember
Do you
do you remember when
remember that
some
they
kids, like if you got operated on, those of us who could, we would sneak out to go to what do they call that, the where you're recovering, I guess, from the surgery. We would sneak down there and, try to check on our friends.
people who were recovering. Do you
Yeah.
remember that they gave you the option to go observe a surgery? Do you
Oh no,
remember
I
that?
don't oh no, I don't remember that. Oh,
Uh,
no, I
I
don't
would
remember
never have
that.
wanted to.
Oh
No,
yeah. Uh-huh.
I would never have wanted to. But yeah, I guess
Yeah.
if you had an interest in medicine. But look,
Yeah.
if I couldn't take the stretching after seeing Mark of the Devil, it was no way I could watch the surgery. I'd be like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
But Maxine, to your question, it was a very intense surgery. And I remember my mother saying that because it was like an 8-hour surgery. And she
Yeah.
just said, I'm not gonna come on the day of the surgery. I'll see
Mm,
you the next day. Cause she figured I'd be asleep or whatever. And I remember mothers being mothers. Of course she was there. She couldn't stay
yeah.
home. She came that night and she was there when I woke up. And we had to be in severe pain, but you're kids, you don't even remember the pain. But at the time, I'm sure it was very intense. But
Yeah.
again, no other time did I have any pain. And the other thing that's pretty awful when you're home and you're on bed. So I remember they put a bed in the dining room because my bedroom was upstairs, so that wasn't happening. So they put a hospital bed in the dining room, and that's where I was for 6 months while while I couldn't walk. And I remember my siblings having to take urinals and bedpans. Remember that?
Yes, we had a little, in fact, my parents had I moved into their master bedroom. I mean, they went into another room because there was also an adjoining bathroom, and we had a lady that would help a little bit. But so that's where I was for most of the time. Yeah. Yeah. But one thing that happened, I don't know if you were there. There was a boy named Tim. I mean, he was like a really beloved, one of our beloved friends, and he went up and didn't make it because he was allergic to the anesthesia, and they didn't know that. And that was like devastating for us. So you losing a friend, but then you're thinking, oh my God, I'm scheduled to go up in the next week or 2 weeks. So that was a big decision because my father was just saying to my mom, listen, we can get out of here. We don't, and then I just remember that was a big family decision, whether I was going to proceed. And, that was devastating. That was just one very sad, sad period.
That's interesting because but I don't remember a lot. One of my friends from high school who went to the same school as me, I didn't even remember that she had, that she was at Shriners too. And so when I
Yeah,
posted about you and I, she was like, "Hey," I was like, "Oh man," but I swear, it's just my memory.
yeah,
So I don't remember that. That's horrible.
yeah.
Kilthea, was that the answer to your question, Maxine? So we didn't have a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Once it was over, it was over. Once you
Yeah.
got, but I remember
Yeah.
once you're on bed for 6 months, you gotta learn how to walk again. Do you
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that?
Yep. And yes, Pat, we were homeschooled. So for me, the Philadelphia School District um sent out a tutor. But I also was going, I was going to a Catholic school at the time, St. Leonard's Academy. Those nuns, they came every week when I was at Shriners Hospital.
My internet is going in and out, so I didn't catch the last part, but I think everybody else did of what you just said. But yeah, I remember Miss Giampaolo. She was my Spanish teacher, but I guess they just gave her all my lessons. And then she would come and spend a couple hours, I don't know, a couple times a week, and we would do homework. But I didn't have to dissect the phone. I remember. Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
that was a biology thing. I did not want to dissect a frog. Go ahead, Kelthia. How you doing, girl?
Good. How are you, Helen?
Okay.
Well, thank you, Helen and Octavia, so much for sharing your stories. I had no idea. I didn't know that you had scoliosis. I knew a couple. In fact, I have a very good friend who has a severe case. I don't know if she was ever treated. She has like a hump in her back. It's like her back is almost like an S. And then when I was in college, the campus minister, his wife, and she had told that story about being on that like torture bed and being stretched. And I was like, and she was still very, very short and had a pronounced, hump in her back. But I had never, heard of such a thing. It was, very, very frightening. Um, my question is, Octavia, you mentioned the scoliosis warriors.
Yes. It-
Can you give us that link?
yes. Let me see. Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Mhm. How did I do that? I'm gonna look for it now.
Okay,
Okay, yes, I can do it.
great. Thank you.
You can.
I'm gonna share with you because there's two curves. There's an S curve. Oh, wait a minute, not that picture. There's an S curve. All right, it's going the wrong way. All right, so that's the brace. That's what I showed you. You see how that brace is up under her neck there. So that's what we dealt with. But that's not the picture I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you this picture here. And you'll see, and you see her, shoot, Helen. Okay, where is my thing here? Shoot, how'd I lose my picture again?
To the right.
All right, y'all. I don't know. I was trying to show you.
It's to
If
the
you'll
right.
see, you'll notice her shoulder blade on the right where it's protruded. So that's what it would be like like mine was probably something like that. Probably more than that, because no, but somewhere around that, right? So when they put the brace on, I guess would this be an S curve, Octavia?
Let me see. I'm sorry. I was looking to see if I had this.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
but yeah,
sorry.
it's kind of they're an S curve or they're a C curve. But if you'll see, like here, it's actually going this way, and then it comes back around. So it depends upon how bad your curve is, because this one is mild, but it can do like this, I mean, it can literally be an S, and then your hips are off. So for me, they always said mine was idiopathic, and in my mind, I always thought that I had one leg that was just slightly shorter, not enough where I needed a lift in my shoe or something, but just enough to make your body go. And as I'm getting older, even though I don't, I haven't, thank God I haven't needed another surgery or anything of that, but I do feel that my body, it's just, some of it's just old age, I guess, but I feel like my body is shifting, and I've gone to the doctors, and I actually would like to see the doctors at Shriners, because I still have my old x-rays. Do you have your x-rays?
No, I don't have my old x-rays. No, I don't even know where those are.
Why? I don't know. I still have my.
Yeah.
Remember, they used to give you your x-rays so that you could
Yes,
bring them back. When you came to clinic, you brought your x-rays with you.
Yeah. I don't even have no idea what those are.
I don't have anywhere to store all that stuff. So they're like, you bring them back with you when you come the next time. But yeah. Anyway, I'm very grateful for, just having and I don't remember who my sponsor was, but I remember mommy, for those of you who are in the Woodbury area, mommy took me to Underwood Memorial Hospital, which is now whatever it is in Woodbury, the same hospital. And I guess whoever the doctor was that was in the emergency room that night just happened to know a Shriner. And that's how I got in. But you have to ask yourself, what if you didn't know a Shriner? How do you get this? So what if it's just like when I finished law school, I remember my judge saying that he had not interviewed for a clerk in so long because he always knew, somebody's kid or, somebody's son who was going to be a friend, one of his kids, one of his kids' friends. Somebody was coming out of law school who needed a clerkship. So he never had to interview. So you see how we as Black people can be blocked out of these kinds of opportunities because if it wasn't for the guy who just happened to be working when I went through, would I have ever ended up at Shriners? Because my mother had never heard of Shriners before.
Are there many Black Shriners? African American Shriners?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But no, go ahead, Helen. Do you know? I mean, my impression that it's what a white organization, a secret. I always thought I don't know much about them, but what my impression was, it was like a secret brotherhood, and it was primarily. I don't know if our Black Masons kind of
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, Judy put in the text the Masons. I remember when I was living in Washington, I was living in DC, and the Black, can you guys hear me? It's telling me my connection is unstable. But the Black Shriners were coming to DC, and I was so excited because I wanted to meet these Shriners because I'm so grateful for, having this service. I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. And one of the Shriners was a guy that I had gone to undergrad with. And he did not even know about the hospital or whatever I was. So
Yeah, well,
I just like with the Masons where they have the black ones and the white ones, I guess it's the same for the Shriners. I don't know.
I remember, I don't know if those who were from Philly, do you remember when we had the big Shriners convention? And we had the Legionnaire disease at the hotel where a lot of
Oh,
people,
yeah, I remember
right.
the Legion.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but
I didn't know it was
I
a
mean,
Shriners convention, but I remember the Legionnaire's disease.
yeah, it was the
I mean,
Shriners. I mean, I don't know about a black component. I'm very interested myself in learning more about the Shriners, just as because we've sort of reconnected. I'm just thinking about so many things. But it was definitely in the beginning, it was it was a very white,
Right. Oh,
secretive organization. And I think that's why a lot of us weren't represented in those hospitals. Um, and it
because
was
how many
definitely,
blacks were there? I remember you, and I think there was a black girl named Crystal. I can't believe you don't remember Daryl. There was a black guy
no.
from Philly, real cool guy, and he was there getting the surgery. His name
Uh-huh.
was Daryl.
Yes,
And then
remember.
Gail reminded me. I don't think Gail was at the hospital the same time as me.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember Gail Best? She was from the
No,
same town as me. Yeah,
no.
I'm not. She said she was there at the same. I remember her once I saw her name, I'm like, oh my God, Gail wore a brace too. But I
Uh-huh.
don't remember us being in the hospital together.
Right. No,
But I don't remember there weren't a lot of blacks that I can recall.
no. I just remember you, a girl named Wanda. You said this other young man I don't remember, and then it was the little girl who I was referencing from Puerto Rico. There were many Puerto Ricans, but this was a dark skinned, brown skinned girl, and so those are the only black people I've ever encountered during my whole time as a inpatient and outpatient. It was definitely racialized. So
Interesting.
yeah, but people treated
Interesting.
us well. I mean, I'm pretty sensitive. I have to say, I never felt any funny stuff. You know what I mean, in terms of our care and all of that. So I never felt that way. And
Of course, we were kids, but I don't. But our
yeah.
parents wouldn't pick up
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
yeah. Are you kidding? Yes, yeah.
Yes.
I know.
No, they were wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good experience. But
hmm
anyway, they even have clowns for the children. Yes, they
Yeah.
probably did.
They did
A
that.
Carrie Ann, they had everything. My
Mhm.
daughter's father is a Shriner and a
Uh,
Mason. So what does that mean when they're a Shriner? It's different than Mason, Carrie Ann. There's two different organizations, right?
Yes.
mhm.
Yeah, there are different levels to it. If I could is so he's a
Roboy
Mason.
said her. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a Mason, but then he's a 33rd degree, but then he's also a Shriner. So there's different levels to it.
And I wonder, are all Shriners like connected to the hospital? Like, I mean, do they, you know what I mean? Do they
They're connected in terms of community service. They do a lot of things within the community. So
Uh-huh.
not only the hospital, but they do a lot of things within the community.
Uh-huh. Mm.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like I said, my college friend, when I was first of all, I couldn't believe he did not remember me. And we were really close in college, but he was like, I don't know who you are, which was fine. We laughed it off or whatever, not a big deal. But he knew nothing about the hospital stuff. So, I'm thinking, and that's who I'm thinking. I'm gonna go down here and meet these Shriners. Like, girl, we don't know
Right.
what you're talking about, but
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah, I think it depends on their state and how they're affiliated. But the one here, I'm in Florida. So when they were in Florida, that's why I was asking him if there's still one here, because I met some in Miami and they were actually coming back from an event in Tampa, I think it was. And they had the clown outfit, like they were like full on whole
Yeah.
Okay.
and how you decide to do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that they kind of push depending on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, so it was so wonderful to reconnect with you, Octavia. And if anybody's listening, Jeannie Hennick from Puerto Rico, if you're out there, I would love to see you again. Joanne Schuler, she was from Philly, blonde hair. That's all I remember. Karen Kirchner, they were from the Jersey Shore. Diane Parker. I mean, I just still remember everybody's name. So I will hope that this will lead to an alumni. I would love to have a reunion with the people who were there during that time. Any names that you want to call out?
Well, Roseanne Plitt. There was Dorothy.
Is she on today? She didn't pop on with us, did
I
she?
don't know. Yeah, Dorothy Giuliani. There was Karen Leak. Yeah, just those are one.
It's just crazy. Like I said, I've kept the letters over the years. And I'm sure at some point I've probably tried to write people. I don't know. But yeah, but I still remember your letter. And if my stuff was not, if I have my things, it's a purple. I remember it so well. So only because I just moved. So I just saw, how you reminisce when you're supposed to be packing and looking at stuff.
Yeah, yes.
And yours is on purple stationery.
Yeah,
And she
I
said
was
she
into
loved
my
her
stationery. I was so in my stationery. Oh boy.
Love your stationery. But yeah, so it was a beautiful thing. I'm very
Yes, thank
grateful.
you.
And
Thank
listen,
you.
folks, honestly, I cannot stress it enough. Judy, go ahead. What's your comment, babe, before we go?
Yeah, I mean, it's tangential, but as you showed that picture with the spine, the last picture you showed with the spine, for people who probably have osteoporosis of the spine, I am thinking that once the spine is that way, it doesn't load properly, and that way your spine doesn't get as dense as it needs to be. And so for people who probably think, well, oh, it's just a slight curve, they probably still should go check it out. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I was glad to hear that people up in age, there's still hope for you. Carrie Ann, your son's 25. I can put you in touch with Dr. Hayes and maybe he can guide you to where you can get some help for him. Or at least some things he can, exercise is important. Swimming, I tell you, swimming is huge. I still don't know how to swim. But it's, I look at people, I'm envious. I took swimming 3 times, y'all. Why can't I swim? I had a student tell me she's and this was so funny. She was an Arab Egyptian, but she was from Egypt. And she really believes that, our skin is thicker. So we don't. This is what she wrote. I was like, okay. Yeah. She was my student, so I let it.
So Helen,
but she was she could teach me. She was sure she could teach me how to swim.
Helen, you probably just haven't had the right instructor. You can learn. Yeah. I learned after 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to really want to.
So, but I still enjoy the water. No bouncy, no bouncy rope play. But I love the beach. So anyway, that's all I have today. Octavia, it was so wonderful seeing you. And I'm so glad that you made the connection. But for me posting, and I kind of rushed through that story, but for me posting those high school pictures, I don't know that you would have made the connection. Because the crazy thing is, when we were on the call with Leslie, right after that, you sent me a friend request and I accepted it. And the name kind of triggered, but didn't really trigger.
Right, yeah. And so I wasn't quite sure. And I said, let me just see. But when I saw that
put up the high school pictures, you were wait a minute.
That's our Helen. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's me. So that's funny. I was like, yes, it was just a great feeling because I truly have wanted to find where are the people who I was in the hospital with. But you know what? It didn't click with me that it had been 50 years until you made the connection. I hadn't thought about it. It's been 50 years since I had the surgery.
Yeah.
Because I still think I'm 30, so how could I possibly have had a surgery?
Yeah.
And both of you sisters look simply marvelous.
Yes, you do. Beautiful.
We'll receive that, right, Octavia?
Yes. Yes.
And you both have
Anyway.
such beautiful smiles.
It's that early Shriners dental care. Okay.
Great dentist.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely would have had protruding teeth, but for
Yeah.
yeah. So while we're on this call, Dr. Cofield is on with us. Oh, my cousin's on here. I called out her mom. I didn't know you were on here, Deb. I was talking about your mom remembering diagnosing my scoliosis. Not diagnosis, being the first to have. She didn't know what the hell it was. Nobody knew what it was. It was just like, oh my God, what's wrong with her back? But something I was gonna say. Now I lost my train of thought. They say you never.
You said
Oh,
something
Dr.
about
Cofield. Dr. Cofield is on, and I'm
Yes.
going to take the blur off my screen. I had put this book on the listserv for you guys to purchase. Oh, can you see it? Let me see. Okay.
Now you have
Okay. I'm
Yes.
horrible at this. I could never be Vanna White. They would fire me.
Put it in front of your, put it in front of your face, Helen. Put it in
I'm
front of your
sorry?
face. Put it in front of your face.
Yes.
Yep, the 9 o'clock
That's it.
whistle.
Yeah, we got it.
Yes. So Dr. Cofield is on the call with us, and she and Miss Sexton, and I can't hold it up and read it.
I know Cynthia is on and Mildred wasn't.
Oh, Cynthia, is that
Cynthia
Cynthia, so yes.
Samuelson, yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
And I'm still here.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, so all three of us are here.
So it's Dr. Wilfield, Cynthia Samuelson, and Mildred Sexton, and they're going to
Dr.
come on.
Mildred.
And this book is worded. I just got mine right before I left, so it was perfect timing. And they also have a documentary. But the three of the three of them are going to come on and talk to us about this journey. I gotta bring. I know I shouldn't, but I am going to bring Dr. Do you mind, Dr. Well, actually, I'll bring all of you on. But I have to bring on Dr. Cofield, y'all. Can I? And I'm going to let her tell you how old she is. I just think it's. Is your camera on, Miss Dr. And Miss Sexton? I see yours is not on. Dr. Cofield, is your camera on? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. She has such a fascinating story to tell. And they're gonna come on with us eventually when they're ready. Miss
Yes.
Sexton, I don't know if your camera is on. But anyway, Dr. Oh, there we go. There you go, Miss Sexton. And I'm giving y'all like so they're going to be our guests soon, very soon, and they're going to talk to us about the work of Dr. Cofield. Dr. Cofield, real quick, can you tell people how young you are?
I'm 96 and expect to be 97 October 2nd.
And real quickly, your journey was, she's a civil rights, can we call you a civil rights
Yes,
activist?
I'm from North Carolina. I taught school in North Carolina for many years. And then we became involved in the civil rights movement. And I was fired. And I left Enfield after that. I think it was 1967 and moved to Durham. And from Durham, I came to New Jersey. And I've been in New Jersey since 1969, except for a brief period. But the book was written, we started writing the book in 2017, and it was published just this winter. At the same time, we also produced a document. So we are getting ready to come on and to tell you about it.
Yeah, so they're going to come on, and Miss Sexton and Miss Samuelson, you guys were involved in it as well, and all three of them will be here with us as soon as they give us a date. But in the meantime, if one of you ladies could drop the link in for where people can purchase the book, that would be great. And we look forward to having you as our guest and watching your documentary.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Looking
No, thank
forward
you.
to
It
it.
was a wonderful show
Yeah.
today.
Oh,
The program today was very valuable. I have a granddaughter who was diagnosed with scoliosis, and I don't think it's ever been treated. So I've been just hanging on every word you've been saying.
How old is your granddaughter?
She's in her mid-30s now. Yes, yes. And I don't know whether it bothers her or not. I never hear her mention.
Everybody doesn't need treatment. Like I said, it was 5 of us. And I think out of the 5 of us, 2 of them had it very slight where they didn't need treatment. And I'm not aware of anybody having back problems. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway, ladies, thank you so much. And we look forward to when you come on and share your journey with us.
And can I say this, please? You can also make a contribution to the Shriners through your RMD. And that's a charitable contribution that you can make every year from your IRA. So my husband and I have been doing it for years and helping children in Shriners Hospital. So hopefully they'll continue with the success that they've had thus far. And congratulations to the 2 of you.
The RMD, what is that, Milton?
Pardon me?
You said you could make your contribution through the.
Yeah, through your
required minimum
required
distribution.
minimum distribution, RMD.
Okay.
Children, stewardship is one of the
Are you talking, my internet is going in and out. So sometimes I think when you guys are talking, I can't hear.
I
But
just
anyway.
wanted to say, yeah, it just says approximately 85% of all funds by the Shriners Children's each year is dedicated to patient and patients to donate to.
Yeah. You know what, somebody had asked about, I don't know that I've ever seen it as an option. You know how they do the giving at work? Have you ever seen it, Octavia, I've never seen it as an option. United Way. Those are usually the United Way campaign kind of thing. I've never seen Shriners. So that's interesting. But they have started an alumni group, so maybe they're going to be reaching out and getting more information from us. All righty, folks. Thank you. I'm removing you guys from the screen, and we're going to call it a day. And I just want to thank you all for coming. I'm so glad to have met you virtually again, Octavia. And as soon as I'm in Philly, girl, we're going to have lunch.
Most definitely. Yes, yes, definitely.
And I think we'll be hearing from Shriners to do some stuff. So yeah. So on that note, I'm going to take us off Spotlight and let's see.
All right.
All right, so we're good. All right, so on that note, I just want to say thank you all so much. We'll see you again next week, and be safe.
Thank you.
so
When
Same
Black
to you.
women gather, amazing things happen. So have an amazing week.
You too. Thank you.
Take
We'll
care.
talk to you later.
Thanks again.
Yes, thank
Bye-bye.
you. We can find the stop recording button. That's what we're going to do. Here we go.